Gonna do a video here on plastic storage bags. Mentioned in a previous video, time to update the first aid kits, and after watching USN Doc on the YouTube, one of our favorite channels, get a lot of good advice there, and he's a big fan of these LokSak bags. Most anybody who watches his channel knows that, and just they seem like a great idea. In effect, they're a heavy-duty Ziploc, reusable clear plastic bag that can be used over and over and offer waterproof, for us sandproof protection of the stuff inside. So I knew I was going to want to try these out, and I went to the local camping / mountaineering store here. I'm sure that if you've got a camping type of store, they may supply these. Otherwise, you can get them right from the website, I'm sure. Anyway, we picked these up. And because I'm pretty cheap, I figured I would check out these Glad storage bags and then these Ziploc storage bags, or excuse me, steam bags, and I'll get into those in a second. So, reason we're doing this, we're updating the first aid kits, like I mentioned, and we want to basically have a place to keep things waterproof, easy to get in and out. That's why the zipper, or the Ziploc, was a requirement. And I've got a couple of things out here. This is a Food Saver storage bag that's just some drink mix that's vacuum sealed, mostly to keep it waterproof. But I'm going to use this really just as a comparison. I can open up the edge here, where the seal is, and I can get an idea of how thick these bags are going to be compared to these vacuum seal bags. I don't know if you've dealt with these before, but typically these are some of your heavier bags, your more heavy-duty bags. Of course, they have to keep a vacuum, but they also need to maybe protect from an exposed bone or something that could potentially be kind of sharp in there. So usually these bags are pretty strong. So I'm going to use this as a comparison mostly. I just have this out as, I don't know, in case we wanted to try the size of these bags, but this is one of the things that I use Ziploc bags for, or Ziploc type bags, and that is manuals like this that I might keep in a bug out bag or an emergency pack or something like that. I brought out a couple of bags just again to compare. This is my typical off-brand or cheap Ziploc type baggie, meant for putting a sandwich in or some produce or something in your refrigerator. Definitely, one-time use, single-use type of stuff. But again, I'm just going to use it to compare with some of these others, which are supposedly heavy-duty. And then this is a freezer bag, again, a disposable type of item. Sometimes these are labeled storage bags, but I'm going to see if these storage bags are really any thicker than this, or maybe if they offer a better Ziploc type seal. And these are something that I usually, the way I keep my emergency gear is in a sort of a shelving unit, and this is something that I'll have a box of 30 bags all the time. I always want to have some Ziplocs just to keep track of loose items and a million uses for gallon-sized bags. So this is just 80 more of them, and perhaps they'll be a little stronger. We'll find out. Then I've got, this is like a bag, I think it's from a Magpul rail or something, but a typical bag you might get from a product that you buy, and I have that here because it's thicker than a typical Ziploc. It's kind of bags we all end up collecting. At least I keep them. If it's a decent bag like this that's clean, doesn't have any holes, and can be used again, that's actually what these books are in, a bag similar to that. I probably bought a magazine or a holster or something that came in this baggie, and the shape and everything is better than a typical sandwich baggie, which just wouldn't have worked for me. So I keep these kind of bags around, again, kind of just folded up in an area of my emergency gear, and that way if I need them I have them. And then I'm a big fan of MRE bags, some of the strongest bag material you can get. And actually this one's sealed on both ends. This is one that the last time I'd been using my vacuum sealer, I had made like a pillow out of this just to see how long it would hold air, and it looks like at some point it lost all its air. But again, this is just a comparison for us to test. I don't think any of these bags are going to be as thick as an MRE bag, but at least we can test it out. So let's get into it. I guess I'll start with the real stuff, with the real deal, and that's these LokSak bags. I'm not going to get too much into them. Definitely check out USN Doc's videos. He knows a lot more about these. He's used most of them. Basically what I did is we do need them for a specific purpose. We need them for the first aid kits, but I also have a pretty interesting project coming up that I'm going to need one, that I knew I needed one about this size, the 6 by 6 inch size. So I bought this 3-pack, and I think it was like $7. $6.70, no, I think it was like $7 or $8, and then this one might have been like $7 to $9, and it's 3 9x6. So again, 3 6 1/4 or 6 3/4 by 6, basically 6x6, and then some 9x6, so a little bit more rectangle. And this is what I really wanted for the first aid kit. And then this one I think was like $11 or $12. I honestly forget right now, but this one has 4 bags, and it's 4 different sizes, and that's what I was looking for. 4.5 by 7, 6 3/4 by 6, which is actually what we've got here, but I don't mind having another one. The 9 by 6, again, I don't mind having another one. But then the 12 by 12. So that let me basically get a couple of more of these. It let me see what the 12 by 12 is going to be like, and how useful this little 4.5 by 7. The 4.5 by 7 is this style, where it's kind of long with the zipper on this end. And sometimes I like these, and honestly most of the time I don't. I like the idea that this size for the first aid kits, it was sort of like having the long side of a Ziploc open. And I thought that was a pretty clever idea for getting in and out of something like a first aid kit. Anyway, let's open these up. Let's take a look. This will be my first time checking them out. I've been curious about them ever since I've been watching his videos. And they're just in a kind of a cardboard with staples, I guess, and then in a lesser quality bag here. We just have a paper insert here that tells us about how keeping our stuff in the bag is such a good idea, and I think we can agree with that. And then we've got the 3 bags here. First impressions, I guess they're about as thick as I thought they were going to be. I'm not disappointed at all. They're actually not much less than the MRE bag. It's a different type. I don't want to call it I don't want to use, I don't want to be so extreme, but this is more towards the spectrum of rubber glove, and this is more towards the spectrum of Tupperware. So this is a little more flexible, I guess, or a little bit more pliable, where this is a little stiffer, more like PVC, and this is more like a softer plastic or rubber. But anyway, it's definitely much thicker than any sandwich bag I've ever picked up. It's definitely as thick as some of these bags that you get parts in sometimes. Well, I think there's a pretty good indication. Here's a fairly heavy bag. This bag is heavier than your typical Ziploc storage bag. Of course, even if I were to not, mess with the whole weight, there's hardly any part of this bag that's going to support its own weight. This bag can support its own weight, to a point, but it's not going to be able to support its whole weight. This bag supports its whole weight. And I don't know if that's the best way to explain it, but this definitely has some substance to it. Again, an MRE bag is got enough rigidity to the material that it's going to hold its own shape there. So definitely stronger than I would have thought. As far as getting into them, very easy. Getting into them is, see, they're actually not the same thing. This is an outside bag that's secured to the opening. Fairly easy to close. I've actually got a sore on my tip of my thumb right now. I'm just healing a sore on the tip of my finger, so I figure this is a perfect time to come in and do something that requires fingertips. I'm going to go ahead and just crush this thing like if I was throwing away garbage. So I'm probably abusing it. I'm sure it's not supposed to come out of the package and do this, but I'm willing to do that because I want to show you what it's going to come out like. I suspect that it's going to not care at all. So I did get some permanent wrinkles in it. Again, I think that's a testament to the to the rigidity of the material. The seal still works fine. This is actually much more pliable than I thought it was going to be. I'm going to just twist it really a lot here. This is not as rigid as I thought it would be. I thought on a reusable bag that part would be, very rigid and, designed to be overkill with the weak material. But this is actually just a very pliable material that just seems to be built in the right shape. That, let's see if we can't get a little air in there to prove that we still have a good seal there. See, I've still got a pretty decent seal there. Now I'm squeezing it. I finally did get it to bust, and I think it was because it bent. I don't think it was a failure of the material. Let's just double check though. I think that it was just that it bent and the physical barrier broke. Yep, there's still a solid airtight seal there. It's just that if you mess with it, you can get it. Oh, actually, the way that it's designed, it flips over on itself there and kind of helps lock it. I don't know how I busted it the last time. I guess I was able to tweak it a little bit and break the physical seal, but not break anything physically on the bag. Now I'm sure you're not supposed to keep doing this to it, but what's the point of reviewing it if we're going to treat it tenderly? So, and this time what I tried to do is just wrinkle the seal part there. But I'm not even phasing it. We've still got airtight seal there. So I'm definitely impressed. And it's just as easy to break it like I do with other Ziplocs, or to find that and then break it that way. Very impressed with it so far. Heavy duty, and seems like made out of great material. That's enough of the LokSaks. The others I'm sure will just be different sizes. To dig into the Glad extra wide storage, and they make a difference on the shelf at least between storage and freezer, and I assume storage might mean stronger. Alright, first off, it's just a Ziploc. There's nothing going on here. It's definitely just a bag. It may or may not be stronger than a regular, just one-use type bag. This thing seems pretty good, but it is not. It is 80 of them for $3. It's not in a LokSak for sure. So that's out of the running. I'll definitely keep them. They're good bags. It seems like it's just as well made as these other off-brand storage bags I have. It just seems to have some sort of a, I don't know, manufacturer so that maybe it's more puncture resistant. I really don't know, but I don't care. It was a test, and we tested to see that it really doesn't matter. Now these I thought might have more of a fighting chance. If we look at the what am I trying to say? The lock part of these bags. It's a different color. It's a wide band. I noticed on these it's the same kind of thing on the package, and for a couple of $10 it was worth checking it out. So again, 10 bags in here. Alright, first off, no comparison. These still are winning. These are, I don't know how to explain. It's definitely a more rigid material, a more, I guess rigid would be the word, or more, but nothing at all like the bag. I don't know where they came up with this, because you're actually getting this giant, huge thing here. Nothing about these screams storage to me. They're meant for steaming, so obviously I'm immediately trying to use them for something that they're not meant for. But even though they might be a little stronger than a typical Ziploc, I can't see the expense. $4 for 10 of them, 30 cents a piece. They're just not something that I would consider. And with all this writing and garbage, unless I plan to do some steaming while I was out in a survival situation, these will probably get put into the kitchen and used for cooking. So, at least we've proven that these LokSaks are definitely worth their cost. What are we talking, $1 a bag? No, $2 a bag? $6 for 3, yeah, so I'm talking $2 a bag. Honestly, is it worth $2 for me? Yeah, I think it is. Because what are your options? Your options are putting it in a plastic box or something that's going to be either big or bulky or annoying or not the right size. For me, knowing now that this thing can withstand what I want to do with it, it's worth $2. I know it's going to last me at least a couple of years, and I think the ability to, for me, this seems like a good size for a first aid kit. For me, the ability to go in, get that aspirin, and have a watertight first aid kit again, worth it, worth $2. So I'm impressed. We'll probably end up seeing these in more videos. I think I see why the doc has talked about these so much. They really are kind of addictive. They really are nice bags. So Anyway, that's a video on plastic storage bags. Our recommendations got to be the LokSaks. They're definitely the way to go. While this other stuff will work for you, these will keep kicking. Okay, it just struck me, and I don't know if it's the best analogy out there or if LokSak's going to even be happy that I'm saying it, but to me, I think the best way to describe the material here, or the feeling of this material, would be like a beach ball. If anyone's ever, dealt with a deflated beach ball, it's thick like this. It's not so thick like maybe a rubber raincoat or rubber boots. It's nowhere near that thick, but it's definitely much thicker than a regular plastic bag, and that pliability, I think that's what I was thinking of, was like that material that a beach ball might be made out of. Obviously, I'm sure this is a little stronger. It even says on here, polymer bag material is a patented super stretch high tenacity plastic, which is FDA approved, meaning you could put food in here, I'm assuming. So anyway, I just thought that maybe I'd add that, it's for people that can relate, that it's about like holding a deflated beach ball.